Hello world, this is Aaron from Empty Streets, and you might also know me as Small Hands. You're listening to Interview Under Fire.
All right, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to another brand new episode of Interview Under Fire. This is your host, Sunny, along with a very special guest, this time with San Diego-based singer-songwriter and multi-award winning adult film star in the modern era, Aaron Thompson, aka Small Hands, like he introduced himself earlier. Quite the honor, man. Thank you so much for joining our podcast today on IUF. Aaron, this is an important yet exciting time of the year for you with the newest upcoming release, the Age of Regret EP, scheduled to drop this coming June. And I just want to say, congratulations on all of the well-deserved reactions it's been getting so far, especially with that self-titled Age of Regret single that dropped. Shout out to Loudwire for getting that started. Like I said earlier, there's just so much to unravel about all this, but
there's a lot of layers.
Before we get to all that, I'm going to start off with a very important question. Going to put you on the spot. Considering what's been happening with our lives in the last year, how are you? I think that's a very important question to ask, considering what's been happening. How's life in LA right now, man?
That's a loaded question. That can go a lot of ways.
That's true.
How am I? The short answer is pretty good. It's currently sunny out in LA, and thankfully I've still got a roof over my head, and I got 2 dogs and a wife, and I do some pretty cool shit, so I'm all right.
That's good. It's easier said than done to say, you're good, and making the best of the situation is what we've all been trying to do for the last year. And might I add, is that it is actually sunny here in Dallas, Texas. I know with previous episodes, I've been telling everyone we got through this snowstorm. So yeah, I'm actually I'm happy that we can resemble that similar weather now. So anyway, that's a whole different topic. But me too, man. For the musician aspect, Aaron, life as of late, many of us have also been away from the stage a lot, fans and musicians alike. But let's talk about you. How are you keeping up your vocals these days? Is that affecting your musicianship, per se? Has anything changed for you routine wise lately, if at all?
Yeah, I mean, some of the obvious, like I haven't played with people in a while.
Right.
So my live chops probably are kind of shitty. But I think what it's done is it's really expanded me on the writing end, because I'm used to, in my history of bands before and stuff, it was always I wrote with people, with other dudes or other people, right. And so now it's like, wow, I'm all alone and I gotta do it all myself. So let's see if we can do this, so I've been just trying to challenge myself to learn like instruments that I didn't really know how to play, or just try to sing in ways that are new to me, just because why the hell not? You only live once, may as well try to explore a little bit.
Yeah, speaking of exploring, you've been at this for nearly 20 years as far as the music industry is concerned. 2003, maybe even dates further beyond that, whether it's your
I played my first the first band I was ever in was 15, I think, maybe 14. Okay. And it was a hardcore band that would cover Gorilla Biscuits and Youth of Today and like Sick of It All songs.
What?
But I'm the son of a preacher, so I grew up in church. So we were a Christian hardcore band. So we were like playing youth groups, opening up for like fucking POD or whoever before they were famous, to church kids, covering like Gorilla Biscuits, but then like we wrote a song about God, shit like that.
Bro, you're striking like pretty much all my youth chords at this point. How have we not done this before?
So
I'm just now speaking to you.
I've been playing shows and in the punk scene since I was 15,
Yeah. And then, of course you have Empty Streets, which you haven't actually performed live in front of an audience as far as that is concerned. But for people who don't know, aside from your youth, you're also involved in, the Stranger Six and Fenix TX. Man, I remember listening to Fenix TX on, what is it, Dave Mirra Freestyle BMX2 when that game came out. And of course, I knew about the band at that time. It's like early 2000s, mid 2000s. And, when I saw that in your just bio, I'm like, wow, this is going to really hit home for me. But
I've got a really weird resume.
it's an impressive one, I might add. Now, what I was trying to get at is I was going to ask, how was the live experience, like the touring life for you personally? Because you said it yourself. You said nothing compares to being on tour, and you've done some extensive touring throughout your career. Several U.S. tours, selling out venues like the Casbah, Soma, House of Blues. You played at Warped Tour, went through Europe as well, and you played with other bands. Shared the stage with like 30 Seconds to Mars and Panic at the Disco, Dashboard. That list could go on forever. Touring 20 something countries, and now we've all just been taking an unexpected step back. And does it make you have a growing appreciation of the touring life, or even just the live experience in general?
Yes, I never. I'd like to think I never took that for granted. I've always regarded shows and the live experience as sort of a religious experience, for lack of a better word. It's church. It's where you go to, to feel something and to meet, like,
It's a different kind of worship element, so to
right.
speak. Yeah.
You're worshiping not fucking Jesus or anything, but it's like a house of, I don't know. I hold a great reverence and like respect for
Yeah.
shows, just that experience. And so being when they got taken away this last year, it just, all it did was it reinforced how much I love and miss them, even like times 100,
Yeah.
I thought I missed, I thought I loved and respected shows before. God, it's like I would do almost anything to have them back. And I think they're coming back slowly at some point.
Yeah. So I know in Dallas, I mean, Texas, one thing that we didn't talk about yet is I'm sure you've seen, they opened everything back up like a week ago or something like that.
Okay.
And things are like upside down over here because we've been going back from phase 1 to phase 2, phase 3, back to phase 1. Now everything's open. And we don't know what's going to happen, going forward, because they're still, I mean, shows are trying to come back here locally, but not like, obviously the big, vast crowd,
Yeah.
which usually
My
encompasses.
guess is it'll be like another year probably till.
I'm hearing that too a lot. I actually think that's more realistic than anything else. And again, what did I say earlier? Making the best of the situation is what we're doing.
Yeah.
Now, and you summed it up perfectly on the touring life, because I also want to shift gears here, and I want to jump back on the music life in a second, because here's the thing, Aaron, you're the jack of all trades. And speaking of which, for the actor Small Hands, that's one of your trades. You've been in the adult film industry for nearly 10 years. Have we surpassed a decade yet?
No, we haven't surpassed it. I think I started in like 2013, 14,
okay.
Something like that. We're coming up on 10.
Yeah. And here's the thing, you're a big part of that. And today you're one of the most celebrated porn stars of your generation. Again, like known as Small Hands. And I know you've told this story plenty, but it's such a good one, because a lot of my listeners don't know about your story, because we interviewed Joanna. She had, I mean, nothing but amazing things obviously to say about you, but the story of Small Hands, I love, I know it goes back to you filling out a form, trying to come up with a name on the dot on like what is your porn star name? What is your adult film life name? What is your moniker, or I guess, what is your Bruce Wayne to Batman type of thing? So if you're able to just sum it up and like how you came up with that name to, I know you dabbled in the adult film industry and writing original scores for Burning Angel as well. So if you're able to sum that up in any sort of aspect, go and take the floor.
So before I ever was a performer, in adult, I was just Joanna Angel's boyfriend. I was just Aaron, who played. I was, when I met her, I was playing with Fenix TX, and I was, I had some Empty Street stuff working on at the time as well, and so that was just my thing. And then when I started doing adult, or initially it was just with Joanna, or it was for her company, so she would direct me fucking other girls, but it was all in that kind of like the family biz. So
yeah,
I still didn't think much of it as a career, or of me being a thing, if you will. I kind of just viewed myself as like a utility player, like a real good supporting cast member, and the girls are their rock stars, and so I didn't really put much stock in a stage name, let alone a cool one. And so I remember the first movie I ever did, I had to fill out paperwork, and I didn't even have a stage name, and I just wrote Aaron, my real name. And Joanna's like, no, you got to have like some kind of stage name, anything. Oh, okay. And I just couldn't think of anything cool. And I really did not want like a stereotypical like alpha male, like Aaron Big Dick, or something really.
And I love that, how you just kind of went the opposite way. It's like,
I
don't give a fuck. I'm just gonna do whatever I want.
I'm not that kind of guy. It's not my personality. And also I like to kind of like make fun of myself. And so I'm like, fuck it. Like, let's just pick something super stupid because this will never be a career. No one's ever going to know me. I want to da. And now I'm stuck with it. So
yeah. And Small Hands was born. I have a question though. I don't know if you've probably been asked this over and over, but after you filled out the name, after, it's done deal, has it ever raced through your mind where you're just like sitting in your car or in your living room, it's like, I should have picked that name. Has any
every
other
day,
name?
every
Has any
fucking day
other?
of my life.
Are you able to share those by any chance, or is that something that you want to keep?
Actually, the time I knew I really fucked up was I had to do a S&M like serious scene in the dungeon, and there's whips and the girl's tied up and super raw, evil, and she goes, "Fuck me, Small Hands," like, and I'm like, oh my god, that just now it's a comedy, like like that sounds so stupid out loud. And so from then on, I was like, god damn it, like. And so I usually, even in the adult movies, I just use Aaron, like, because fuck it, like it's I am Aaron. So
I mean, I love it. I like I said, it's outside of the box from the usual like the porn stream, like the big dick, whatever you want to talk about. But I love that you kind of just went the opposite route because you're like, I don't care, I think you do it because it just kind of came to you. You didn't plan on it. I feel like I think the most amazing things in life, as cliche as it sounds, are the most unplanned things. And here you are, within a few years, you're male performer of the year from every single adult trade association, which I think that's correct because AVN, XBiz, Adult DVD Talk, Alt Awards, the Inked Awards. I mean, what goes through your head when you hear something like that, knowing that you're kind of like the lead in all these different platforms? And obviously you didn't plan on it, but it's like I'm sure there's a sense of like humbleness that comes in. It's like, wow, I can actually make something out of this,
I mean, it's incredibly humbling. I never saw myself as that guy in porn. I still don't see myself as that guy. I think it's kind of weird a little bit. And I guess all I can say is I love sex, I love women, and I love doing I've always wanted to do a good job, whether it's been in a band, whether it's when I was a bartender. Like, I like to have someone set something up and me just knock it down and we all high five and like, yes, we killed it. We just killed it. And so I try to do that with every movie I've done for the last 10 years. It's just, like, sex, I love it. Woman in front of me, love it.
Love it.
Let's make something epic. Let's make something that's like legendary, and you don't always get that, but I try for that every time. And I can only humbly say that I think that's maybe why I've gotten so far, is that every single movie I do, like, it's the last one I'll ever do, and it's the first one I've ever
Interesting done. Yeah, that's the way you actually explain that. That's how I approach when I talk to my awesome guests. Like, I treat it as if it's my last interview,
life's crazy. We don't know what's in store for us. And how lame would it be to like think like you get like hit by a car tomorrow and the movie I did the day before, I phoned it in, or the interview that you did, wasn't fully there. So I want to always try every day to give it 110%.
And with this profession, somebody said, I don't know if it was Joanna or another star in the industry, you're giving more of you at work than any other career, and something that we did talk about, you talked about how you've been staying busy with the music life. What have you seen that's happened with others in the industry during the pandemic? Like, like as far as the adult industry has been concerned, like, has COVID, obviously we can talk about the film industry with the movies in Hollywood, and like they've been getting slowed down. Everything's on HBO Max. But as far as that is concerned, what have you seen? Like, I couldn't even imagine the impact this last year has had on the porn industry. How is it like during a worldwide pandemic?
Well, it's changed several times in the last year alone. I mean, like everyone else, when the world first shut down, so did porn. Everyone shut down. So there was, I don't know, 6 months I didn't film any. I basically was out of a job. I was jobless.
so I don't mean to interrupt you there, but it's like, it's the way you're explaining it. I don't know how it was for you. obviously you're doing movies a lot more, on a repetitive basis before the shutdown. I was at a show every week before the shutdown, and I haven't been to a show in what, since last March, and now it's been 1 year anniversary. But anyway, I don't mean to like cut you off there, but I kind of see the resemblance here on, you were without a job for, jobless for whatever how long it was.
And so basically that was like the first stage of it. And then we started production again, but with a ton of protocols and rules. And I mean, I get COVID tested like 6 days a week, still. Wow. Even because, 24-hour COVID tests for cast, crew, everyone, masks on set, unless you're the two people doing the thing. And, a lot of regulations, no gangbangs, no orgies. That's too many people. I've been lucky where I'm still working again. I think we started back up back in September, October, something like that of 2020, but with very limited, production with all these guidelines and stuff. And so I'm working a ton. It's just a little different now.
Has this pandemic, now that we've been talking about what you've been busy with for the entire year, has it opened up new things for you personally, professionally, and maybe even artistically that you may have not known before about yourself? Because, I've talked to many different artists who say, yeah, I've taken up cooking, I've taken up reading, gaming. I baked this pandemic. I never thought I'd be baking. So I don't know if there's something new that you maybe took in, like a hobby or something like that. Anything?
Yeah. I learned MIDI.
Oh, so like, that had to do,
my first record, Demons, it has a charm in its sound. And a lot of that is because I recorded it with one keyboard, and I did it all like analog style. Like I played everything. Nothing was MIDI, nothing was like computer gridded, because I just didn't know how to do it. So I just would put the click track on, and I'd play the kick and snare, and then I'd put in and then I play the synth lines and whatever. And so during COVID, I taught myself MIDI because I was working with Ben Weinman from Dillinger Escape Plan and Suicide Tendencies. We were working on a song together, and era of COVID, can't be in the studio together, so we're emailing each other files and Dropboxing each other WAV files and shit. And at some point, he's like, man, you really should learn how to use MIDI and some of this, because it's like 2020, man, and we got to get you into up to speed. And so he kind of helped me for a month crash course my way through learning how to kind of edit and do a lot of the post-production using like MIDI and digital editing. And so I got a lot better at that. So my next record, the production is a lot higher and better because I learned some shit.
I do want to talk about that experience with MIDI in a second. And before we get to that, because I know your wife, Joanna, is a legend in her craft in the adult film business. And like I said, I had the honor to host her very recently here on IUF. Have you read Club 42 yet, the book?
I've read about a third of it.
Okay, man,
I haven't finished it because I like to read it. I film in Vegas a lot, so when I stay in hotels, I like to have some reading material. But it's pretty epic.
Oh man, I would love to grab your take on it after you finish reading it. But considering what you guys have been doing, have you guys been able to stay busy with both of your schedules as well? Considering what she's been busy with, what you've been busy with. I know you guys co-own Doom's Whiskey as well. Mm-hmm. How has that been going? Has COVID given that an impact as well? Other things.
Yeah, well, it's kind of hard to go to a bar and order your favorite Doom's whiskey when there's no bars.
That's true.
But like anything, man, like the world is constantly changing, and you better be fluid in this life, or else you're in for a shitty existence. And so even though like bars aren't open, we've made a lot of moves behind the scenes for Dooms and done a lot of like retail kind of setting, laying up some of the bricks for that. So fingers crossed, I think 2022 is going to be a pretty big year for Dooms. And as of now, we're just kind of quietly putting some pieces together.
And where can the fans and listeners go to? Do you order domestically, like as far as shipping?
So basically, if you live in California, if you're one of the those lucky or unlucky few, depending on how you look at it. We are in a few bars and restaurants and stores in Southern California, which you can find a list of on doomswhiskey.com. It's DOOMSWHISKEY, doomswhiskey.com. And if you do not live in California, go to doomswhiskey.com anyway, and you can order a bottle direct, and we will ship it to you as long
Dallas,
as you are
Texas. That's exactly where.
As long as you're in the States. We can't ship outside of the States yet, but so that's what's up.
That's awesome. A very popular topic that I wanted to talk about is I'm sure it's been popular for you've seen this for the last 4 or 5 years, and I asked Joanna about this, is OnlyFans. And for people who don't know, it's a content subscription service where content creators can earn money from users who subscribe to their content, the fans. And is popular in the adult film business and among sex workers. But there's also other genres such as, physical fitness experts, musicians, obviously, and other creators who post regularly online. Aaron, I wonder, what your thoughts are on that. Coming from someone who's seen things from the outside and the inside in the last few years or so, when you joined in the industry, do you think that the current OnlyFans surge, I mean, I don't know if you want to call it a surge because it's so prominent, especially now with the pandemic, is that going to affect the adult film business going forward in any fashion or not at all?
Yeah, it will. And it already has.
Yeah.
What it's primarily done is if it's given performers a place to make the same or more income that's without making any real studio porn, if you will. So if you were like a porn star, before OnlyFans, more or less, you make your money by making movies. That's how it works.
Yeah.
And maybe some of the more famous people have like a toy line or, like something, this or that. I have like a dick mold that you can buy in stores as well. Thanks. Shout out to Doc Johnson for making it.
Tag Doc Johnson on this thing.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But basically what OnlyFans did is all of a sudden now all these performers can pay their rent without leaving the house.
Yeah.
And so it's made a lot of performers just retire because they don't need to make the movies anymore. Or it's I don't know. It's just kind of,
is that
changed.
bad? I mean, I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know if it's bad. I personally I'm not a money driven guy. I'm more like adventure and art, and that I'm in that realm. So for me, I like porn because I like the production. I like being on a set with a crew, and I know we're making something elevated, and it's like that, there's a sense of artisticness to it, even, though some people would debate that. Porn is art, is taking a video in your apartment on your phone, with a ring light art. Sure. It is too.
And now with the mobile devices these days, you could pretty much shoot anything.
Yeah, but it's not the kind of art that I guess speaks to me. So I don't really have much interest in OnlyFans type things other than the money it brings is awesome, so cool. And it is fun to have some level of interaction with fans. But I feel like I'm on my phone in life and fucking enough. I don't really want enough, I don't want to be tied to another digital leash. But since I do live in this modern world, I'll play the game,
Yeah, I mean, you could have placed it, you couldn't have said it any better than that, because it's interesting because I'm sure there's so many different sides to it. I mean, there's no right or wrong answer to this because you don't know how it's going to be going forward. And for something that's only half a decade old, who knows how it's going to look like another 5 years from now? Because I'm sure you feel the weight of it. Because okay, this is what I really like to do. Do I really want to do something? Yeah.
And I think too, what it's sort of done is it's opened up more freedom for performers, because if you can kind of if you can run your OnlyFans from a hotel room, all of a sudden you have girls who are traveling the world and in a different country every week, and thanks OnlyFans, that's what's supporting it, so there is cool things that are that can come from it.
Yeah. And now I'm curious to get your take on this because we talked about the film industry, adult film industry. Let's jump back to the music because again, something that's been popular is live streaming. A lot of the
Yeah.
bands, what they do on stage, are taking it on the screen like we're doing. Obviously, these interviews will be in person, but we've had bands, like Lamb of God on the show. We've had, August Burns Red. I believe Code Orange was one of the first bands to do the live streaming last March. I
Cool.
think something like that. And we've even had bands like Insomnium on the show. They talked about how they sold virtual tickets to the fans and they did the pre-recorded show
Mhm.
and they streamed it for them. So considering the amount of touring you've done, Aaron, the amount of venues you've played in, the fans you've encountered, do you think the quarantine induced live streaming surge, that surge that we're talking about now,
Mhm.
is that going to affect the touring musicians business going forward on the musical side of things? Like, do you still see bands doing something like this even after all this is over?
I, yeah, I don't think it's going to hurt touring because it's still not a substitute for the live
Yeah,
experience.
of course.
But it's shown that you can really, like, with a little ingenuity and DIY cleverness, you can like make some really cool shit that's like
Yeah.
not quite a music video, but it's not quite live, and it's, I don't know, it's still an interesting piece of entertainment or of art, and so I think if anything, bands will just continue to do those sorts of things and tour, maybe find some way to kind of like wrap it up into both, or I don't know. I'm not that smart. I don't know the answer to that, but
No. That's okay. That's an answer because there's, again, like you answered about OnlyFans, there's no right or wrong answer to it because, of course, I have the liberty to mosh in my own room if I want to, but how much longer can I do it for, right? Because you
yeah,
have the live streaming, you do the live streaming, and then there's that wall you hit where how much more creative can you get? Okay, did
yeah,
the live streaming because some artists that I've had on the show, they say, "Oh, I'm not doing shit until all this is over," and some artists would say, "Yeah, I love to do the live streaming. It still allows me a chance to engage with my fans." You can tie in OnlyFans into this conversation as well. That's why I wanted to tie in those two topics together, and you answered it perfectly because, again, there's that uncertainty going forward. I mean,
yeah.
but I don't know. You got a new record coming out, like a new record coming out this summer. I mean, has
Yeah.
live streaming crossed your mind?
Yeah, yeah. I'm sure I'll do something.
Okay.
I just, one thing at a time. I got to finish the record first. I'm
Yeah.
wrapping up the last song this week, actually, so it should be fully tracked. And I also, I'll drop a little bomb on you. I just signed a record deal this week too, which I'm not going to say who yet because there'll be a press release soon. But so this record will come out on a very, very known, very cool label, and that's all I'll say. So I've been working on getting that all dialed in, and then the live streaming will come next.
Are you going to release it on your birthday like you were kind of planning it to?
Uh,
You
I
said
mean,
June
I'm
2021. That sounds like
talking. I just picked that day because I don't know. Birthdays are
that.
cool.
Hey, yeah, why not? I'm all for it, man. I
Uh,
think that'd be a great idea.
yeah. So really, I'm talking to the label about exact like dates now that there's like
Cool.
more people involved on the project. We're making a plan. So, but it'll be for sure like at the latest this summer. Yeah.
It's always nice to have things like that to look forward to. Now, Aaron, I know we talked about everything from head to toe. Let's talk about the Age of Regret EP. I promise we'll talk about that now. It comes out June 2021. Now, for people who don't know, this is the follow-up to the 2020 EP you had, Demons.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard that and it was just infused like hardcore rock and roll roots with a darker, alluring edge. And you said that you drew your influences from, some of my personal favorites, Nick Cave, Nine Inch Nails, Depeche Mode, V&V Nation, some songs like, Possess Your Head to Dance With You to the self-title. Like I heard that. And now with the new single, Age of Regret, which dropped this past January, I felt like there couldn't have been a more fitting song for an encore to Demons. It was very dark wave synth pop and synth pop. I mean, talking about something making a comeback nowadays. I mean, you're utilizing it to perfection. You can talk about Stranger Things all you want, but synth pop, I think I love it. And of course, the melancholic elements. Is it just me, or did it feel like a sequel to you too, or am I just another
No,
fan?
that's really cool. Fuck, man, that you picked up on that because my Empty Streets is basically a timeline of me and what's whirling around in this skull of mine and in this heart of mine at whatever is going on in life. So you're watching me,
Yeah.
it's like I hate to use the word like diary or journal, ugh,
That's a,
but the songs I write and my lyrics are very they're very personal. I don't really like to explain them, and it's really like where I go to sort of vomit out all of my darkness. I'm a pretty upbeat. I wouldn't say happy guy, but I'm not like a super downer guy, but I have those elements in me, and this is where that all of that goes to rest. So maybe because of COVID, this next record, the angry songs are angrier, the sad songs are sadder, the fast songs are faster. It's just more of everything.
and you said you wanted this record, this upcoming EP. It was technically turned up a notch, and Demons was written over what, a couple years. So is
Yeah.
that right? Yeah. So when did the writing for Age of Regret begin for you? Was it, I don't know, during Demons, literally after Demons?
I mean, it all it never stops and it never
Yeah.
starts. I've been writing constantly a stream since I was 16. Just so I have notebooks upon notebooks, weird pages and weird emails I send myself in the middle of the night just to sentences that don't make sense. And I can't stop writing. I'm always doing that. So the last song in Demons was finished, 2 weeks later, I was writing another song. I don't think that was Age of Regret. I think it was one that didn't make the cut. But so I'm always just on to the next. But I will say, Age of Regret was written a lot faster. Demons there wasn't really like a deadline, and I had started that pre-COVID just as something to chip away at in between filming. I was doing about 25 movies a month as an adult for the last 4 years, basically working every single day. So I did not have a lot of time off. So in the few moments I did, or at night when I would just unwind, I would work on Demons. So that probably was written over like a year and a half. This next record I probably wrote in 3 months.
Now I want to throw a name out at you. I think it's Jaime Preciado.
Yeah, Jaime.
Yeah. So now
Jaime the homie.
Pierce the Veil. I mean, one of my bands. I've been listening to them for 10, 15 years, and it was
with those guys.
Not man. And in this record, Age of Regret, I think it's amazing how you guys collaborated because it was also mixed and co-produced by Jaime. So having said that, I'm sure there was a sense of comfortability for you, Aaron, knowing that Jaime was working on this record with you as well, right?
Yeah, look, man, I've known Jaime for God, like we used to live in the same apartment complex when I was in the Stranger Six and homeless. I was sleeping on my sister's couch because she was trying to, support her big brother and being in a band. And I remember Jaime and a bunch of these fucking shithead dudes were living upstairs, and my sister had a baby, and they were always partying, and she was always mad because they'd keep the baby up. And, oh man, good times. And then the Stranger Six actually used to play with Pierce the Veil, but they were called Early Times, like the Whiskey, like way back in the day when they were just a local band in San Diego. And then and so I again, like those guys are just cool San Diego legends that we all came up in the same scene together. So I've known Jaime for a long time, and it's funny, one of my friends, I didn't even know he did mixing and mastering. I haven't talked to him in a while. I live in LA now. He's in a very famous band. He's busy. And my friend was like, "Oh, Jaime recorded me singing Happy Birthday, like for my mom, but like a heavy metal version. Like, it's funny, listen to it." And I was like, "Oh my God, the production on this is fucking great. Like, really? Like for a joke song?" And then he's like, "Yeah, he wants, does mixing and he does engineering and all this." And I just texted him and I was like, "Dude, like, you want to do my record? What's up?" And we kind of reconnected and chatted a little bit, and boom, we were off to the races.
Man, and you've known him for a lot. I mean, during even your first music years. It's interesting how you find that, almost like rekindle that friendship, and so to speak, when just something spontaneous like that happens. And
no, and I'm such a like, I live in LA, but I'm from San Diego. That's my town. That's where my heart, my soul is. And I like to be loyal to the homies as much as I can, whenever there's something that I can involve. I mean, the first album, Demons, was mixed by Sean O'Donnell, who was in Yellow Card, and also a San Diego legend. He played in a punk band called Dogwood for many years. That was on Tooth and Nail Records. So I try to just use the friend network as much as I can.
Also, Coronado Island is actually one of my favorite spots in the entire world. So just randomness. I always go out there. Every year I go out to Coronado Island. Obviously I couldn't go last year, but anyway, that's just a whole different conversation. We're talking about that. Now,
that's a beautiful place.
Great. I highly recommend it. Just get tacos on the beach, grab some gummies, and sit out there.
Hang out at the Hotel Del.
Yeah. Oh yeah, is it haunted or did I just hear that?
Yeah. It's the famous hotel like Sinatra and Monroe, Marilyn.
Yeah. Okay. I thought I was just hearing that from random people who were just walking across the beach. Yeah, that hotel's haunted. I'm like, wait, what? Then of course, anyway, yeah. Now, between writing and structuring the songs and the production process, like you talked about, you did your 10 best dark love songs recently with, I believe, Loudwire, or is it Loudwire?
Yep.
Yeah. So you had artists like Nick Cave and Danzig, Andrew WK. I love that you had him on the list. Joan Jett, Nine Inch Nails. Again, this also pertains to how you wanted this record to sound angrier and faster and sadder and slower. Turning up a notch, especially with Jaime working on it with you. And the Age of Regret single, I'm tying it to this because the Age of Regret single is about how painful it is to make peace with the world that's fed you beautiful poison since day one, especially at a time like now. I feel like it's a perfect time for Age of Regret to come out, considering the time we're in. So let me ask you this, Aaron. To what level do you like to have a theme for your music, and how important are themes to you? Is that more about helping you write or sound, or is that more for the audience?
No, I think themes and like a sort of an aesthetic checklist, kind of, if you will, and I mean that in the best way, is kind of what I like to do for Empty Streets, and it never changes. I'm a one theme pony. So basically my theme is just darkness, it's
your music video had that. Your music video had that because it had that dark theme in there.
And I think what is so interesting about darkness as a theme is it can come in shades, man, and forms and different layers. And it doesn't just mean howling at the void rage. It can also mean very quiet, just inner, just agony without making a sound. And then it can also be sorrow or something like mournful, and those, I'm just drawn to those elements in music. I always have been. I don't really like I love sad songs. I don't like happy songs. I don't really listen to upbeat stuff. I mean, like Jimmy Eat World is probably the most upbeat.
I love Jimmy Eat World.
I do love Jimmy Eat World. But for example, like I really love a lot of the sadness in my songs comes from girl pop, like Lana Del Rey. Think of all the sad songs she sings. That just fucking like knife to the heart, just heartbreak. Or even like I covered Selena Gomez on the last.
Yeah, you did on the last. Yeah, it was the last song on there.
And again, I love like sad or heartbroken female pop. It's like one of my weird secret, like maybe it's not a secret anymore because I'm saying it, but for Empty Streets, a ton of my songwriting influence is taken from heartbroken or angry, sorrowful female sort of pop songs. There's just something in that sound I love so much.
Now, again, this is going to be on every podcast out there, but I want to say, as you were talking about the influences from like Lana Del Rey, man, I would love to hear a collaboration with you and her. I mean, the resemblance I'm hearing, just the pitch in your voice when you sing. What is it? What I'm trying to say, it matches Lana's.
This may sound really creepy or crazy or whatever. I love you, Lana. Please don't take this the wrong way. But a lot of times when I first get the ideas from my songs, I can like hear her voice singing, or if not her, I almost actually always hear a female voice singing my songs when I'm writing them. It's never a male sound.
That's pretty unique.
Well, and I think that's what contributes maybe to this unique vibe I have, because obviously my voice is very low. It's very masculine by traditional definition, but the spirit of where it's coming from is the opposite. And I'd like to think it gets this sort of interesting thing that I do.
Do you see Age of Regret as a snapshot of where you are in a certain time in your life looking back?
It's my whole life. I mean,
Yeah. You could even make the argument where, not even an argument, just the discussion of putting all the albums that you've worked on, throughout the bands that you've been in.
You can, again, I'm such a one trick pony. Like if you look back at the Stranger Six records, which came out in like 2007, all the songs are dark. They're still sad. They're still angry. Like it's this. I've been wailing about the same dark shit for years. I'd like to think I've refined it and elevated
chronologically refined over the years. So
I would hope so. I would hope so.
Now, from the different experiences and perspectives in your timeline that you have taken in, which we've discussed about so far. Good God, Aaron. I mean, performing with Stranger Six, Fenix TX, Empty Streets. Obviously, I hope I get to see you live here in Dallas. I know as far as the touring aspect, whenever that opens up, I mean, I would love to do another face-to-face interview with you, like in person. I miss doing that. And
the second real touring opens up again, I'm gonna take some time from filming and just hit the road.
Yeah, it'll be great to do that. Now, and you've, like I said, you've toured the world throughout those early and mid years, including Warped Tour, signing with Coach Records as well. You did that as well. Being married to someone as hardworking and passionate in their craft like Joanna, being recognized as one of the most celebrated adult stars of your generation, winning the awards that you have. You've experienced so much already, Aaron. What is the most rewarding part for someone like you who is now at this point in their career, at the same time has been involved with so many other different aforementioned brilliant artists, organizations, actors, people throughout those junctures? Did all that play a part in helping you grow as a person and an artist? Like, in other words, have you ever stopped to take a look back at how far you've come? Loaded question. I know.
Yeah, but it's crazy, so I don't like to. I like to just work, keep my head down and work. I like to look at the next project and treat it like it's the last thing I'm ever going to do, and like it's the first day I've ever done anything. So I think just getting to live this life is the reward,
like put you on the spot.
Yeah, I got kind of heavy. Get me off.
I think it's important because I feel like the more successful you are, and you have been successful, it's easy to lose track of yourself when you're on that path. Does that make sense?
I guess, yeah. Let me just say, I think somewhere in there you said, like, what do you feel like you're most proud of or whatever? As a punk rock kid, that's me. Like, that's what I've always been. That's what I still consider myself. I always valued adventure, saying yes to all opportunities, no matter how insane or risky or crazy. I always wanted to do things my way, not work 9 to 5, not be stuck in this society, more or less, that we've all been fed since the jump.
Of course.
And I've always thought that there was a way to make money, to have adventures, to be creatively fulfilled, to find love. I love my wife, and I did it all my way.
Yeah.
And that's it, man. Like what more could I ask for? Like the accolades are cool, and like I'd be lying if I didn't appreciate the financial success that adult film has brought me. But those are like not that important. The things that are important are like what you want out of life, and what I've always wanted out of the life is to be fucking punk, do things the way I wanted, to look how I wanted, to love the way I want, to sing the way I want, to act the way I want, and again within the context of being good to your fellow human, and be successful at the same time. And I'm here.
Yeah. I think it's an important question to ask because it is important because it also helps you grow to the point where you are in your career. Sometimes I like to just push everything aside and just exhale, like, okay,
Yeah.
and I kind of just look at things from the outside.
And it's humbling because with all that being said, I know how quick it can be taken away or changed. And so that keeps you at a certain again, I have a lot of respect for this life I get to live.
Like you're leveled, not too grounded, not too up on cloud nine.
Yeah, no, like I want to enjoy the highs, and I want if I'm on this roller coaster, if we signed up for this, let's fucking go. But at the same time, I want to always remind myself that,
of course,
this could change, man.
In fact, Joanna said, I think it was the interview we did together, where there's that happy medium that you have to find, and it's not easy to find, but you have to find that balance between what we just talked about.
If you're especially in entertainment, not just
gosh,
if you're an actor or if you're in music or if you're in porn, like the highs are really high and they're very unique, that are unlike what most people get to experience. Lows are also extremely low and also unique. So you got to understand that, and continually understand that, because it changes all the time. So even like on my best day, winning a award and going on stage or whatever, having someone write me and say how much they love my song, killer. Let's feel that, but let's also remind ourselves that you're not that special. Like, just you enjoy that moment and move on, and humbly earn it. Continue to earn it.
Man, this has been such an honor. I felt like we could have talked for another couple hours or something like that. But I asked Joanna this question, since we talked about music already. I'm gonna end things on a pretty cool note.
Okay.
Usually I would ask, the artist, like, hey, what are your 5 favorite albums? What are your 5 favorite movies? If you can do a top 10 list, that'd be great. If you can do top 5, that's fine too.
Okay.
At the top of your head that you can think of.
Okay. Number 1, without even hesitation, this is Spinal Tap. The greatest movie of all time. That's it. Can't tell me otherwise. It's probably also the movie I've watched more than any movie ever.
Awesome.
I also grew up because my dad's a preacher and I grew up in church, so we didn't have cable TV. I was not allowed to watch like rated R movies. I wasn't allowed to listen to the radio. I didn't even have MTV. So what I did do was watch a lot of old Elvis movies, like the 50s Elvis. So Jailhouse Rock, King Creole, like all the classic iconic Elvis movies, which is also what developed my love for like that kind of classic rock and roll look and like aesthetic. And I've been obsessed with Elvis since I was a fucking child. And a lot of it,
there's a nickname that goes around that calls you the tattooed Elvis. Is that true? Or was I just reading that?
I did not give myself that. I think I don't want to be in the same sentence with Elvis.
Bro, own up to it. Just own up to it. I would endorse you.
But I'll say thank you to those who have said that. That's very, very kind. Thank you very much.
There you go. So is that 2? Is that 2 movies?
That's 2, and then the other movies that shaped a lot of my childhood for the same reasons. I was allowed to watch old monster movies, like old King Kong, the original Godzilla, all that stuff. Because there wasn't any swear words or nudity in it, so my parents were cool with that. So I'll just say the original Godzilla.
What year was this? Because I have seen the Godzilla movies.
This was like the black and white, like Japanese one, I think.
Oh my gosh.
Because my grandma's Japanese, and I remember she had VHS tapes of all the classic Japanese horror movies. And
does she still have them? Man, bro, you could make a library out of that. You're talking about a movie like Godzilla. There's a new one coming out in a couple of weeks with Kong and Godzilla.
Yeah. So there's that. I will say, oh God, man, there's so many movies. You know what? The First Friday is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Classic.
I grew up watching. That's another one that me and my friends would just watch like 1,000 times over and over again. Here, I'll hit you with a super. If you know about this one, then you'll know how old I am, and this is super hipster. But have you ever seen a movie called The Edge of Coral?
No,
Exactly. Okay. Well, you're gonna
hold
have.
up.
I just hit you with one. This is a movie that is basically West Side Story, but punks versus straight edge kids, and it features the guys from Botch and Murder City Devils, and like all these really cool like Seattle era or Seattle bands. I think it was filmed in Seattle. Rocky Battleato, and it's really low budget. I think it was filmed on like a home video recorder, and it's like a full length like West Side Story, and it has like concert footage, and then there's like fight scenes in the parking lot.
Spell it out for me.
It's called I think it's called The Edge of Quarrel. It's been so long, and it's really hard to find.
Oh, it's 21 years old.
Yeah,
in 2000.
Me and all my little like hardcore and punk friends. It was like the movie we like worshipped growing up. And then I'll hit you with another one, Rockers, Jamaican 70s movie, I think, about like some of the old like dance hall rude boy Jamaican stuff. Another really great movie that I watched a lot. I think I found out about that through bands like The Clash and stuff like that, because I like a lot of first wave and second wave reggae.
So I'm gonna have to have that, and Joanna recommended I watch Heathers, and
that's a Joanna movie. See, Joanna goes on a different tip than me on the movies.
her list was it had some of my favorites and some I haven't heard of. Fight Club was on that list as well, and and then she recommended Heathers, which yeah, she's
I mean, I liked the movie, but I had no idea she liked it that much. Okay, Fight Club.
And one of my movies in my top 5, this always throws people off. I don't know why. I'm gonna tell you anyway. American Psycho. Do you like that movie?
Yeah, I mean,
I love it. I love that movie.
It's been a while. I thought it was. Yeah, I did like it. I thought it was good.
Yeah, I think it's just an interesting, just from the production standpoint to writing to casting.
Yeah,
in the story, of course. It's just Anyway, that's we can talk about movies on a whole different level.
Yeah. Oh, I think okay. So last one, Grease. Like Grease, the musical. Again, man, I've always had a love for like classic rock and roll. Greaser, like in my senior picture in high school, I had a little leather jacket and pompadour, and I basically wanted to be fucking John Travolta from Grease and Elvis really bad. So that kind of like, also it's such a like a nod to this campy like sort of romanticized world that exists, and I don't know, it's great, and I like the songs.
I think as considering what's been happening in the world, those are, I mean, I welcome all that. Like as far as like just encompassing yourself in a different fantasy where you don't have to deal with the shitty repercussions of what the world brings you. It's nice to get lost in art like that. You talked about art. Hey, that's art. Grease is that.
Yeah.
And man, Aaron, again, this has been an honor. Do you have any I don't know, last words, any shout outs, anything you'd like to plug as far as Empty Streets or even Small Hands is concerned to put out in the future?
I mean, just make sure you're following my Instagram. That's where the home base for all updates, Empty Streets, Doom, Small Hands, everything in between. And just, thanks. I really appreciate everybody giving the songs a listen. And I think it's about time, in 2021 that people understand that you can do something like adult and also do other things at the same time and have it be celebrated. And I think that's badass.
Yeah, and you don't have. I know you can't talk about the label yet because that's what Age of Regret comes out. That's gonna
there'll be a press release literally next week about it. So very.
Sweet.
I just don't want to let it out just yet.
No problem, man. I'll keep an eye out for that. And everyone who's listening, man, this is Aaron Thompson. I mean, how much more can I say about this guy? AKA Small Hands, Empty Streets. Please pick up Age of Regret. Comes out June 2021. Follow his Instagram. Follow all his outlets.
Yeah, my YouTube channel has the videos up.
Yeah,
all the normal stuff.
And support Doom's Whiskey as well. I think at a time like this, we got to support each other to get through this entire whatever this is. As long as we have each other, as cliche as that sounds, yes, that works. And Aaron, you take care, my man. We will do this again next time, hopefully in person. I can't wait to come to Dallas, eat all the barbecue wherever we can, and talk about how we did an interview during a pandemic.
Can't wait to see you, dude.
All right, man.
This is the age that I regret. This world has fed me lines and lines of poison. I bite the hand that feeds.
Hey guys, thanks for listening to Interview Under Fire podcast. If you guys liked what you heard, please subscribe and share our channel. And please leave a 5-star review, as that helps us tremendously. And also, if you guys have any questions or comments, you can find us at Interview Under Fire at Facebook or at Instagram. Or you can write us directly at schwag@interviewunderfire.com. That's SCHWAG at interviewunderfire.com. Or Rezablade, that's REZABLADE at interviewunderfire.